Why this project? Growing up in the USA, I always had unlimited data, calls, and texts through Verizon, and I took that for granted. But after moving to the Philippines, that habit caught up with me. I have unlimited data here too, but even with it, I get severely throttled once I pass a certain amount, so I have to hop onto Wi-Fi whenever it's available. And I kept hearing the same question from locals: how do I know my phone is only using Wi-Fi and not data? Their solution is to just turn cellular data off entirely and rely on Wi-Fi, since most of their communication happens through Facebook, Viber, or other messaging apps anyway. What this project is: my project is a smartphone app built for Android devices, like my Honor 400. It solves a common frustration. Sometimes your phone quietly uses expensive mobile data even when you're connected to free home Wi-Fi. The app runs in the background, watching your internet connection. It checks whether your phone is safely on Wi-Fi or if mobile data is leaking out. And if you are on mobile data, it tells you exactly which SIM card the data is coming from, SIM 1 or SIM 2, which matters for people like me who juggle multiple SIMs, one overseas and one back home in the States. I designed it to be simple and easy for anyone to understand. It has a dark theme with a black background, easy on the eyes in a dark room, which I prefer anyway. And it never bothers you with pop-ups or loud alerts because I can't stand constant notifications. Instead, it quietly writes everything into a clean history log on the screen so you can check it whenever you want. What each file does. Android manifest.xml. This file is like the rulebook for the app. It tells the phone how the app is structured and asks for two important permissions: the right to check Wi-Fi status and the right to see SIM card info. Without it, the phone's security settings would block the app from doing its job. Activity_main.xml. This file builds the visual look of the app. It handles the dark theme, setting the background to dark gray, and it lays out the interactive parts: the master on-off switch in the top right, the separate toggles for SIM 1 and SIM 2, the timer dropdown, and the text log where the history updates. IC_launcher_foreground.xml. This one holds the code for the app icon on your home screen. The icon is a bright teal Wi-Fi symbol with a friendly white question mark beside it. Because it's built from code shapes, it looks perfectly sharp on any phone screen, and honestly, it was pretty easy to make as a beginner. Main.activity.java. This is the brain of the user interface. It connects the buttons on the screen to the background code. When you flip a switch or change the timer dropdown, this file catches it, updates your preferences, and tells the background scanner to start or stop checking based on what you picked. Networkworker.java. This file does the heavy lifting behind the scenes. It runs quietly even if you close the app. It checks your phone lines and prints a clean, time-stamped message at the top of the log. For example, a green checkmark, 12:30 p.m., using Wi-Fi safely. Build.gradle. This is the setup script that lists the tools and libraries the app needs. I used it to pull in a special library called Work Manager, which is critical because it lets the background code scan the internet without draining your battery. I was genuinely worried about battery life, since I don't want anything hammering my phone. Design choices I debated. Choosing a screen log instead of pop-up notifications. When I first started planning this, I thought about having a pop-up slide onto the screen every time a data leak happened. But then I pictured getting hit with alerts in the middle of watching a video or playing a game, and it sounded awful. I already hate seeing open notifications piled up on my phone. So I decided to keep the app completely silent and write everything to a visual history log instead. Helpful, but not annoying. Using Work Manager instead of traditional services, I needed a way to keep the app checking the network continuously. Normally, apps use something called a persistent service that runs in a loop forever. The problem is that modern phones have aggressive battery savers that shut those down to conserve power. To keep the phone from killing my app, I went with Google's Work Manager framework. It lets the phone run my checks alongside its own system routines, keeping battery use close to zero, creating a custom loop for short time intervals. Android has a strict rule that blocks background tasks from repeating faster than once every 15 minutes, again, to save battery. That was a problem, because I wanted users to be able to pick a 1-minute or 5-minute refresh. So, I built a workaround. For the longer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 1-hour options, the app uses the standard system timers. For the shorter 1-minute and 5-minute choices I really wanted, I compromised and added a Test Now button.